Hello, everybody. We are back. It's Joe Deacon here with ISU beat writer Jim Benson to talk another edition of Redbird Report as the Illinois State Redbirds, now still unbeaten in Missouri Valley. They're going up against Wichita State on the road on Saturday, Jim. They're living right now pretty well.
They are. Obviously, they had a big injury setback here. MiKyle McIntosh is going to be out for a couple weeks. He had knee surgery. Initially hurt it against Drake on January 21st. He actually played the next game against Indiana State and had a huge block at the end of the game when they were only leading by 2 points. But then at Evansville, the knee kind of stiffened up a little bit. He kind of got sore. They went back and did another MRI on Monday, and they found out he had a torn meniscus. So he's going to be on the shelf for at least 2 to 4. It's usually a 2 to 4 week injury. So Dan Muller last night was calling it probably 3 weeks, which would possibly put him back for the last week of the regular season.
Yep, and so without him, they had to take on Northern Iowa last night here at Redbird Arena, and it was quite a defensive battle in one way you could call it.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of those games here for the next couple of weeks. Obviously, MiKyle's a huge piece of the team, both ends of the court, offensively and defensively. Their defense is still pretty good without MiKyle. I think they miss him more offensively. He's a guy who can hit from the perimeter. He can create his own shot. He's probably their second primary ball handler behind Paris Lee. Can go inside, can post. I mean, he can do so many things offensively, and you just can't get that from one guy who's not starting. So they're going to miss him offensively. But I think they'll get the wrinkles out a little bit offensively as they kind of go along here a little bit. They've actually had 2 games without him now because he did not play at Evansville, like I said, last Sunday. So.
Yeah, they just need to kind of adjust to the fact of knowing he's not going to be there.
Different guys in different roles.
Exactly. But it did seem like Paris Lee had a step up, had another decent game, especially in the second half as they started to pull away.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see from Paris is he's going to have to look for a shot a little bit more. Paris loves to be a facilitator. He's obviously one of the top assist guys in ISU history. But they're going to need probably a little more scoring. He had 18 last night against UNI, and I think you'll see that a little bit more from him, especially when he's out there playing with Keyshawn a little bit. Now you got 2 point guards out there, 2 guys who can create at the same time, like when Paris and MiKyle out there. So I think Paris will be more of a scoring threat here going on the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, and it starts with a big matchup Saturday in Wichita. Obviously, makes it a little tougher playing without McIntosh. What's going to be the key, do you think, on Saturday to giving them a chance?
Well, they're still going to have to play their great defense like they have since really the Hawaii trip and all that. If they have any chance at all at that place, they're going to have to play great defense. And I think another huge thing in that game is going to be their big guys, Hawkins, Phil Fain, and David Ninja. They're going to have to stay out of foul trouble, and that is going to be easier said than done. I mean, and anybody who's ever seen a game at that place is a freaking crazy place, let me tell you. I mean, the fans, like Paris said last night, the fans are really just on top of you. It is a great atmosphere for basketball. I encourage anybody who ever has a chance to go out there, the Charles Koch Arena in Wichita. It is a great atmosphere. Their fans are sitting in the stands a half an hour before the game, and they're making noise. I mean, so I would expect they haven't taken too kindly to being in second place in the league for the last 3 weeks.
No, it's a place they're not used to.
A place they're not used to, and they're going to want to get a lot of revenge on Saturday. It's going to be a great atmosphere, and one of the funny things is it's their homecoming game.
Oh man!
And you don't usually see that in basketball, and they don't have football, so they celebrate homecoming during basketball, which I didn't realize until this year. And they're all going to. If you watch on ESPN2, it's yellow out game, so everybody in the crowd is going to be in yellow. So you might have to wear sunglasses watching the game.
Yeah, you said everyone there is going to be amped up. You did mention foul trouble, and obviously that kind of hampered Hawkins a bit in Wednesday's game.
Yeah, he picked up his 3rd foul early in the second half. I think there was about 15 minutes left, and he had to sit for a while. So he only played 27 minutes. He had 11 points and 9 rebounds. I mean, he's a key guy in this game. But Phil Fain has just really taken his game to another level. His last 5 games, he's 26 of 35 from the field, averaging 14 points and 7.6 rebounds. And if you think about it, those are MiKyle McIntosh numbers. MiKyle's averaging 13.5 and 6.4 rebounds. So Phil is kind of, posting those kind of numbers, which is great for the Redbirds once MiKyle gets back. Obviously, Phil and MiKyle are totally different players. Phil's basically a low post threat, but he's kind of shown, that 15-foot face-up jumper. He's got that ability. Dan Muller said after the game last night, they've been encouraging him to kind of look for his offense a little bit more. Super athletic kid. He really has only played basketball like 3 years or something like that, 3 or 4 years. So he's just learning on the fly, and he's taking off right now. He's fun to watch too, and a great natured person too. He has fun.
Indeed. Well, you know that with the winning streak going and the 19-4 overall record now, they are starting to get a little more notice on the national stage. Some talk about their tournament potentials, and definitely a win Saturday would really go a long way to giving them a better shot at an at-large if they happen to mess up.
A win Saturday would be huge. I mean, that would elevate them in a lot of eyes of committee members if they do not win the Valley Tournament in St. Louis. It would be huge.
Indeed. Along those lines, we'll take our first question from a Twitter follower today, our only question indeed. This is from Austin, and he says, if ISU beats Wichita State, would you expect a possible number 25 ranking?
I would think they'd be really close at that stage. They've only been getting votes from one person in the AP poll, John Feinstein. But I think when you're on ESPN2, and if you could win at Wichita State, I think a lot of voters in the country would take notice of Illinois State. That would give them 13 wins in a row, 2 wins over Wichita State. Obviously, Wichita State has a big brand name now in college basketball. I think they would be closing in. They'd be right on the cusp of the top 25 next week.
And indeed, part of that also plays on what happens with the teams at near the bottom of the 25 poll. And Northwestern, after just cracking, obviously had a tough game against
Purdue. So I would think like an Illinois State would probably get more votes that Northwestern was getting.
Quite possibly. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week's show. Obviously, enjoy watching the game on Saturday, and then we'll be back next week to talk about how everything goes. Thanks.